Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tonight's story begins on a lonely highway just outside a dying desert town, the kind of place where gas stations close before sunset, where the wind sounds like whispers, and where people avoid eye contact for reasons nobody talks about. But what happened on that road one freezing night would leave even the toughest men shaking in silence. It started with a girl standing alone beside a broken-down car. Her name was Emily Parker, 26 years old. Small-town waitress. Quiet smile. Soft voice. The type of woman people overlooked without realizing how much pain she carried behind her eyes. From the outside, she looked normal. Ordinary. But inside, she was running out of reasons to keep going. That night, the rain came down hard enough to blur the road. Emily's old sedan coughed twice before dying completely near mile marker 17. No signal. No nearby houses. Nothing but darkness and endless highway. She tried the ignition again and again until the battery gave out. "Please, not tonight," she whispered. She leaned back in her seat, exhausted. Mascara smeared beneath tired eyes. Bruises hidden under her sweater. Bruises nobody at the diner ever asked about. Because people noticed. They just chose silence. Emily stared at the photo taped to her dashboard. A picture of her and her little brother Mason from years ago, before life destroyed everything. Before addiction took their mother. Before debt swallowed their home. Before Daniel entered her life pretending to save her. Daniel Reeves. Wealthy. Charming. Respected. And cruel behind closed doors. For 3 years, he controlled every part of her life. Who she saw. What she wore. Where she went. Every mistake punished with words or fists. And tonight had been worse than ever. She touched the split on her lip and closed her eyes. Then she saw headlights. Multiple headlights. Bright. Fast. Motorcycles. Her stomach tightened instantly. 5 bikers rolled through the rain and slowed beside her car. Leather jackets. Tattoos. Loud engines growling like predators. The leader killed his bike first. Tall guy. Thick beard. Scar across his eyebrow. The patch on his vest read Iron Revenants. The kind of club locals feared. Emily's hands trembled. The bikers parked around her car in silence before one knocked on her fogged-up window. "You okay in there?" he asked. His voice was rough but calm. Emily hesitated before cracking the window slightly. "My car died." Another biker laughed softly. "Well, that much we figured out." The leader shot him a look. "Shut it." Then he looked back at Emily. "You alone?" She nodded. The biker studied her face carefully. Not in a creepy way. More like he was noticing something she hoped nobody would see. The bruises. The fear. The exhaustion. "Name's Marcus," he said quietly. "We can tow you into town." Emily instantly shook her head. "No. I'm okay." Marcus glanced at the dead engine. "You're stranded in the middle of nowhere during a storm." I said I'm okay. She sounded almost desperate. Because deep down she believed danger felt familiar. Predictable. But kindness. Kindness scared her more. Another biker stepped closer. Younger guy with tattoos on his neck. "You scared of us?" Emily didn't answer. The younger biker smirked. Can't blame her. We look like criminals. Marcus ignored him and crouched slightly near her window. You got someone we can call. Her throat tightened. Daniel would kill her if strangers got involved. I just need a minute. Marcus looked unconvinced. Then suddenly another set of headlights appeared behind them. A black SUV. Emily froze instantly. No. The SUV stopped hard beside the bikes. Daniel stormed out into the rain wearing an expensive coat and a face full of fury. There you are. Every biker turned toward him. Daniel pointed at Emily. Get out of the damn car. Emily didn't move. Marcus stepped between them slightly. Problem here. Daniel laughed coldly. Yeah. My girlfriend likes creating drama. She doesn't look okay, Marcus said. Daniel's expression darkened immediately. That your business. The air changed. Heavy. Dangerous. The younger bikers straightened. One cracked his knuckles. But Marcus stayed calm. She needs help. Daniel stepped closer. And you need to mind your own damn business before you regret it. Emily panicked. Please stop, she whispered. Daniel yanked her car door open. You embarrassed me tonight. She flinched automatically before he even touched her. And that tiny movement changed everything. Every biker saw it. Marcus' face hardened. Daniel grabbed Emily's arm aggressively, pulling her from the car. Let go, she gasped. Marcus moved instantly. His hand locked onto Daniel's wrist like steel. That's enough. Daniel looked stunned. Someone challenged him. You have any idea who I am? Marcus stared straight into his eyes. Don't care. Rain poured harder around them. The younger biker muttered, Boss. Because tensions were seconds away from exploding. Daniel shoved Marcus hard. Big mistake. 3 bikers stepped forward instantly. Daniel suddenly realized these weren't drunk bar fighters. These men were dangerous. Still, his pride kept talking. She belongs to me. Marcus' voice turned deadly calm. No human belongs to anybody. Daniel reached inside his coat suddenly. Every biker tensed. But instead of a weapon, he pulled out cash. Thick stacks. I'll pay you to walk away. Marcus glanced at the money, then at Emily's terrified face. Keep it. Daniel's jaw clenched. She's mentally unstable. She runs off sometimes. Makes up stories. Emily looked down silently. Because that's what abuse does. It trains victims to doubt their own reality. Marcus noticed her silence. Then something happened nobody expected. Daniel slapped her. Hard. Right there in the rain. Everything froze. The younger bikers exploded first. Yo! One grabbed Daniel by the collar instantly. Another shoved him against the SUV. Marcus didn't move at first. He just stared at Emily. She wasn't crying. Wasn't screaming. She looked empty. Like someone whose soul had already left weeks ago. Then quietly, barely audible over the storm, she whispered something. End it fast. Marcus blinked. What? She looked straight ahead, emotionless. If he's going to kill me eventually, just end it fast. Silence. Absolute silence. Even the rain somehow felt quieter. The bikers looked at each other, stunned. Because they'd expected fear. Not surrender. Not a woman so broken she talked about dying like discussing the weather. Daniel tried laughing nervously. She's being dramatic. Nobody laughed. Marcus stepped toward Emily slowly. What did he do to you? She shook her head weakly. It doesn't matter anymore. Daniel interrupted aggressively. We're leaving. He grabbed her sweater roughly and pulled. The fabric slipped from her shoulder. And that's when the bikers saw it. Bruises. Not one. Not two. Dozens. Old bruises. Fresh bruises. Burn marks. Fingerprints. The younger biker actually stepped back in shock. Another cursed under his breath. Marcus froze completely. His face lost all expression. Daniel immediately tried covering her shoulder again. Too late. Every man there had seen enough. Nobody spoke. Even Daniel realized something had changed. Because the bikers weren't angry anymore. They were horrified. Marcus finally looked at Daniel. And when he spoke, his voice was terrifyingly calm. You did that. Daniel tried recovering his confidence. She exaggerates. Marcus punched him so hard the sound echoed through the highway. Daniel collapsed instantly into the mud. The younger bikers held themselves back from joining in. Marcus grabbed Daniel by the coat and lifted him halfway up again. You touch her again. His voice lowered dangerously. And they'll never find your body. Daniel's bravado vanished. Completely. For the first time all night, he looked afraid. Real fear. Emily stared in disbelief. Nobody had ever defended her before. Not neighbors. Not coworkers. Not police. Nobody. Marcus released Daniel into the mud. Then slowly turned toward Emily. You are coming with us. She blinked. What? You need a safe place. Daniel shouted from the ground. She's not going anywhere. Marcus looked at two bikers. Handle him. They dragged Daniel backward while he screamed threats. Marcus removed his leather jacket carefully and wrapped it around Emily's shoulders so gently it almost made her cry. You cold. She nodded slightly. Then suddenly burst into tears. Not loud dramatic sobs. Just silent broken tears she'd held back for years. Marcus looked uncomfortable for a second before awkwardly patting her shoulder. It's all right. But Emily kept crying harder. Because sometimes the moment people break isn't during pain. It's during kindness. The bikers brought her to an old roadside clubhouse about 20 miles away. Emily expected chaos. Drugs. Violence. Danger. Instead she found old couches. Poker tables. Terrible coffee. And men quietly giving her space like scared brothers trying not to make things worse. One biker named Reaper handed her hot tea without saying a word. Another found dry blankets. The youngest biker kept angrily pacing. I should have broken his jaw. Marcus sat across from Emily near the fireplace. You hungry? She shook her head. When's the last time you slept? She didn't answer. Marcus sighed quietly. You don't gotta talk tonight. But after a long silence, she finally spoke. He wasn't always like this. Marcus leaned back listening carefully. At first he bought me flowers, paid my bills, said he loved me. Her hands trembled around the teacup. Then slowly everything changed. She described years of manipulation, isolation, fear, apologies followed by worse violence. Nights locked in bathrooms crying silently so neighbors wouldn't hear. The bikers listened without interrupting, because every word hit like a punch. Then Emily revealed something worse. Daniel wasn't just abusive. He was connected. Wealthy friends, lawyers, police donations. Every time I tried leaving, he found me. Marcus' jaw tightened. So you stopped trying? She nodded. Quietly. I think part of me already gave up. The room fell silent again. Then the youngest biker suddenly slammed his fist into the wall. That bastard. Marcus stopped him with one look. Emily flinched from the noise instinctively. Marcus noticed, and his expression softened immediately. No yelling, he muttered toward the others. Hours passed. Outside, the storm continued ragging. Inside, something unfamiliar slowly settled around Emily. Safety. Real safety. For the first time in years, nobody screamed at her. Nobody threatened her. Nobody demanded anything. Around 3 a.m., Marcus found her sitting alone near the garage entrance staring at the rain. You should rest. I'm scared to sleep. Marcus understood immediately. Because victims often fear waking up to worse pain. He leaned beside the doorway quietly. You know, people think biker clubs are monsters. She looked at him carefully. Aren't they? Some of the men inside laughed hearing that. Marcus smirked slightly. Some are. Then his expression darkened. But some of us know exactly what monsters look like. Emily noticed scars on his knuckles. Old ones. Deep ones. You've seen things. Marcus stared into the rain. My sister dated a guy like Daniel. Emily stayed silent. Marcus swallowed hard. She didn't survive. The words hit heavily. I was too late. For the first time all night, Emily saw pain in him too. Not biker toughness. Not intimidation. Grief. Real grief. Marcus looked at her. So no. I'm not letting history repeat itself. The next morning, Daniel filed a police report claiming the bikers kidnapped his girlfriend. 2 officers arrived at the clubhouse by noon. Emily panicked instantly. He'll make them take me back. Marcus looked calm. Only if you choose to go. When the officers questioned her, Emily trembled violently. Years of fear flooded back. Daniel stood behind them smirking confidently. Then one officer noticed bruises near her collarbone. Ma'am, did someone hurt you? Emily looked at Daniel. Then at Marcus. Then at the bikers silently standing behind her. For the first time in years, she realized she wasn't alone. Her voice cracked. Yes. Daniel's face dropped instantly. Everything changed after that. Photographs. Medical reports. Witness statements. The truth finally surfaced. Daniel was arrested that afternoon. Kicking and screaming. As police dragged him away, he shouted toward Emily. You'll regret this. She flinched automatically. Marcus stepped forward slightly beside her. And Daniel finally shut up. Weeks passed. Then months. Emily slowly rebuilt her life piece by piece. Therapy. A small apartment. A new job. Healing wasn't quick. Some nights she still woke up shaking from nightmares. Some days loud noises made her panic. But she kept going. And strangely enough, the bikers became family. Reaper taught her how to ride motorcycles. The younger biker, whose real name was Louise, constantly brought terrible gas station snacks to cheer her up. Marcus mostly stayed quiet. But he always checked in. Always made sure she felt safe. One evening nearly 6 months later, Emily stood outside the clubhouse watching the sunset paint the desert orange. Marcus walked beside her holding two coffees. "You smile more now," he said. She laughed softly. "I forgot how." He handed her a cup. "You remembered." They stood in silence for a while before Emily finally asked the question haunting her since the night they met. "Why did you stop?" Marcus looked confused. "When Daniel hit me, why didn't you kill him?" Then answered honestly. "Because that would have made your story about him forever." She looked at him quietly. "You deserved a future bigger than your pain." Those words stayed with her. Because survivors don't just need rescuing. They need reminding that life still belongs to them. A year later, Emily opened a support center for abused women in the same town where nobody once helped her. The Iron Revenants helped renovate the building themselves. Rough bikers painting walls badly while arguing over tools became the town's favorite rumor. And above the entrance, Emily placed a small sign. "You are not alone." Simple words. Powerful words. Because sometimes all it takes to save a life is one moment where somebody chooses not to look away. And every year after that, on the anniversary of the storm, the bikers gathered for coffee at the clubhouse while Emily rolled her eyes at their terrible jokes. But before every meal, Marcus always made the same quiet toast. To second chances. Because he knew something most people never understand. Strength isn't always loud. Sometimes strength is a terrified woman surviving one more night. Sometimes strength is asking for help. And sometimes strength is a group of feared outcasts choosing compassion when the world expected violence. So if you are listening tonight and you feel trapped, if somebody has convinced you that pain is all you deserve, remember this story. Remember Emily. Remember that one moment can change everything. One stranger can become rescue. One act of kindness can interrupt years of darkness. And no matter how broken life feels, your story is not over yet. Thanks for watching everyone. And if this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video with someone who might need hope tonight. Because sometimes hope arrives on roaring motorcycles in the middle of a storm.